Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I'm happy. I am in a good mood. Go ahead, ask me, why are you in a good mood, Guile? I dare you, ask me. Well, I'll tell you, I'm in a good mood because I am literally sitting on a ton of replays. So many I don't know what to do with. Not all of them are good, admittedly, but law of averages dictates at least some of them must be. And what I really like is people are sending me in replays that they don't even feature in, which means they haven't just curb stomped someone in the game and thought, I know what I'll do, I'll show off because that'll be great. Everyone likes to show off. They've gone, no, they've instead gone to watch other people's games. They have been seeing them either on the live replay system on FAF or been checking out the replay vaults, and they've come across them and they said, that's a great game, you know who's going to enjoy that? The rest of the FAF community. I'm going to get that to Guile ASAP. And that's what Soviet Pride did, bless him, helping save Guile time by sending in good quality replays that he's checked for desync and so forth, and that's one that we are going to watch today. It's going to be a low pro level ladder match on my least favorite map, point of reach version 4, but you know what, that doesn't matter because if it's a good game it could be played on my bedroom carpet. I really wouldn't mind. Anyway, I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So we know what we're doing here with point of reach. Let's take a look at our players up here at the top in the blue corner. It's the winner of this week's Amusing Name Award, Be Kind From Behind. Sounds like one of those horse names, should be running in their derby or something. Anyway, he is going Cybrin, opening first land, and his opponent down here at the bottom is TZ or Taizai. I'm going to call him TZ because it rolls off the tongue so much better. And he's also going Cybrin, opening first land, so it's a Cybrin mirror matchup, which of course means I'll be brushing my teeth with Domestos as soon as this is over. TZ immediately saying in local chat there, trying to work out who his opponent is. Not quite familiar with the name, it would seem, as these guys get set up. Incidentally, I should say, guys, you guys very nearly didn't get a cast today. On my day off, you don't realize how close I was to not looking at any replays today, mainly because Homeworld Deserts of Karak came out last night, or last night at midnight, whatever it may be, and I love that game. Like, I don't know I love that game, but I love Homeworld. I love the Homeworld series, for those of you that don't know me. So it took every fiber of my being to look at replays, but I did it. I did it for you guys because you are all so attractive. If you were less good looking, I probably wouldn't have done it, if I'm honest. But this is just what the effect that you guys have on me. Anyway, I figured I've got time for a replay. I might get a game in a little bit later. Maybe I'll do a Let's Play. That would be crazy. Most of you won't want to see that, but it would be fun anyway. We'll see what happens. Anyway, back to the game. Both players seemingly going second air there, getting out early air scouts and interceptors pretty much. In fact, one interceptor, one air scout there for TZ. TZ coming around the eastern edge of the map looking for a pass, and one air scout coming out there from Be Kind From Behind, going straight over the top of TZ's base. Going to get a good read on everything there. Let's take a look at the flyby from TZ. Also pretty much going to get everything scoped out in the early game. Two players going to be well aware of what's going on there. TZ already on the move with his ACU, heading towards the bottom right-hand island there, already getting in there for the other redundant starting location. Land factory, core mass all queued up, ready to go. We've got a skyhook laden with build capacity coming out from both players, in fact, going for the middle islands, fortunately going for differing middle islands, so it gives a little bit of variety for startups in the game. No early harassment straight off the bat. These guys should get set up nice and quickly with the mass. It seems like there's only 4 engineers on board Be Kind From Behind's transport, but 6 on board TZ's, who gets caught by a few interceptors there. He's trying to evade. He's got his own inties in the area. Oh, but tragic air disaster. Shot down completely intentionally. Very nice work there from Be Kind From Behind. That's going to stifle his opponent's expansion. Air war ensues in the meantime. It's going to go slightly better there for TZ. And interestingly, Be Kind From Behind elected to drop 2 units of build capacity on that middle island and then bring 2 across. But a quick flyby with the scout plane recognized the ACU had made its way over to that island, so there was no point in wasting build capacity there and throwing mass down when it was going to get overrun pretty quickly. So that's a good decision from bekindfrombehind. Instead, he's going to move out to this little side island with one of the NGs. 2 mass points there to be grabbed, and there's still one on board coming around the bottom of the map. Here we go for a second attempt from TZ to get build capacity up to that middle island. Only 2 engineers on board now. Can't wait around to fill that bad boy up. Got to get down and get building fortifications and factories ASAP. Time is of the essence, and would you look at the screen he's got in place now. Doesn't want any more interdictions there from bekindfrombehind running in with any more inties shooting down any more transports, because that is a costly loss in the early game. Let's take a look at mass per tick now. Well, it seems pretty damn close between these two, but I think TZ just about has the edge. It seems to be an edge of about 7-8 mass, something like that. Reclaim is more or less on the money, although TZ seems to be slightly ahead in that as well. So eco-wise, going slightly better for our red Cybran player than for our blue. And I can't believe what I'm seeing here. The engineers got down and started a land factory, but a T1 bomber, which has subsequently been shot down, I think, or he's over here, managed to pick off the engineers. 3 kills on that T1 bomber. Very nicely done indeed. I'm going to slow this back now, throttle back on the game speed, because we are going to start missing things. The front line is completely fluid at this point in the game, and the warfare is kicking off all over the place. TZ moving on with his ACU, has a pretty good startup going on the bottom right island that wants to try and challenge bekindfrombehind on that 3 o'clock position. A couple of bombers lying in wait for that ACU to emerge from the water. And that extra engineer that we saw coming around the bottom of the screen there from bekindfrombehind has captured 2 of the mexes and is working, or about to work, on another, which has just been upgraded to T2. That'd be quite a loss there for TZ, but that's a lot of potential mexes. And just as we were talking about captured mexes, that's been turned over to TZ as well. So lots of back and forth going on here. TZ emerges onto the center of the island, picks up a radar there, picks up a few land units. You can see all the wrecked Mantis on the ground there. But what he needs to do is move into main base. The build capacity that's on the ground from bekindfrombehind is already working on autoguns. 2 of them queued up. One of them is about to go online, but TZ missing a valuable opportunity there. Does he have access to overcharge? Well, he doesn't, but even so, he could have got them there and used his regular gun to kill off those NGs and prevent that PD from going online. And as it stands now, he's going to have to back up out of there. Another one on the way as well. Of course, not a lot of HP on the unupgraded Cybran Commander, just 10,000 hit points to play with. Always got to watch your step. Bomber still out over in the west for bekindfrombehind, picking up another Mex. And we have bekindfrombehind's ACU also pushing this time to the 9 o'clock position, belonging to TZ, who is only just getting up and running. Some great harassment we've seen from our blue Cybran player in this one. We've got 1 factory online and another one under construction, but no fortifications to speak of and not much going on the ground. And of course, with this constant air fracas that's been going on over this side of the map, bekindfrombehind's had a pretty good read on what's going on the ground. ACU inbound, ETA probably about 20 or 30 seconds. TZ, meanwhile, decided he can't win out against the 3 T1 batteries, now online at the 3 o'clock position, so he is going to withdraw. Not all the way back, he's just going to sit offshore for now with that ACU. Taking a look at the naval games, we've got naval units on the way. We've got 4 T1 naval factories in play now for bekindfrombehind, but a lot larger naval investment from TZ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 naval factories in play, and already quite a lot of T1 units heading north. I do see a T2 gunship, a Renegade, coming out now from bekindfrombehind, so he's transitioned to T2 air nice and quickly. Pretty opportune moment to do so. Bekindfrombehind's ACU now leading an assault on this position. We do, however, have some build capacity working on an autogun, but it's quite far back You think the range of a T1 PD is only like that. These two factories potentially could get some fire from that ACU without that ACU being exposed to any counter PD fire. So there we go. Renegade is joining in the assault. Does have a couple of T1 inties causing some headaches for him, and in fact another 5 or so coming that way, but that's going to be dead long before they get there. T1 core mass on this other redundant starting location is going to be destroyed. TZ not happy about the behavior of his inties, not going where they want it to. And now we're starting to see the naval game heat up. We see how many frigates we've got online for TZ. Well, he's already got 13 in play. Let's see how that compares to the 5 that Be Kind from Behind has on the field. So large naval advantage in favor of TZ, but eco advantage, it would seem, in favor of Be Kind from Behind. So it'll be interesting to watch how this develops. Obviously, Navy expensive to run, and you would say more or less crucial on a map layout such as this. Another couple of Renegades making their way across the field now. They're going to split up, one heading bottom left, another heading pretty much directly south. And ideally they'd get some kind of fighter escort, because at the moment they're just heading straight into uncontested skies and getting brutalized by TZ's inties. Be Kind from Behind taking a little bit of Mantis fire now. Still in place over here, and he's actually started work on a couple of factories up here. One of them online, another one about 850 odd hit points of 3,500. But he can afford to be a little bit more ballsy, I would think, down here. Put some pressure on these land factories. Perhaps he's worried about air pressure. Certainly there's a lot of, or has been a lot of inties around. Doesn't want to suddenly walk into a T2 air trap. As the Tridents and the Sylphs merge just off the southern tip of Be Kind from Behind's main base. Looks like that could go badly for Blue the longer this goes on. A couple of Corsairs brought in to harass the frigates, but there's so many of them with their meager onboard anti-air. They're more than enough of a match for those Corsairs, although he does manage to snag one of the Tridents. But this is absolutely critical. He must hang on to his naval facilities at all costs. If this gets beaten down and TZ is allowed to bring up any sizable force, it doesn't matter what the lead on mass, his base is going to get smoked. Be Kind from Behind still hurriedly producing T1 land factories up here, not committing to huge amounts of unit production as yet. Not a great place to send your NG out to. Lots of bad things lie that way. But look out, nice little drop coming in, and this is pretty risky considering how many inties have historically been located on this part of the map. It looks like it's all T1. Mantis coming in, and importantly, both Dragonflies will offload. So that is a lot of Mantis on the ground going straight after the exposed T2 mexes. One of them down. So we take a look at where TZ's located. He was on 171. That could have been mass reclaim effective, but certainly up in the high 150s or over. It might have been the 170 odd. 2 mass extractors down, a third one under attack. The forces are dividing now, and that southerly group pushing further to the south, going after another T2 mech. A Corsair comes in and hits the pack, taking out about 3 of them. But I can't believe how much time Be Kind from Behind is getting here. We do have ships in the area, but the awkward shape of the terrain blocking that Salem's fire once again, and that's a terrible place to land your interceptors as the Mantis finish off that mass extractor and open up on the landed planes. That other T2 mechs went down. They're working on another, but only 2 Mantis remain down here. Build capacity push on forward to try and reclaim the damaged mechs or the destroyed mechs, but they don't last very long. Reinforcing Mantis arrives. Oh, they're going to snag it, I think. Hit points are eviscerated, and if we take a look at TZ now, he's gone from 170 odd mass down to around 135, so it's been a very successful attack indeed. If he can manage to pick off a T2 power plant as well, this could be a crippling blow dealt right here, although he's running out of Mantis very, very quickly indeed. Corsairs turning up, causing all kinds of problems, and now T1 bombers as well. I think he's going to be able to hang on to that power generator. Meanwhile, we've missed a bit of action over here at the 9 o'clock position. TZ capitalizing on the attention being diverted to the main base and forcing bekindfrombehind ACU off that position. He's now firmly in control pretty much of that island, although there is 1 unit of build capacity over here and a couple of Wagners out as well. Meanwhile, another little push over here. That's all Mantis, so it would have been another drop. And they're going to be successful at taking down another T2 mass extractor. They've got hostile Mantis coming into their south, but they do manage it. So that's another one down. And now a Wagner to boot is wailing on that other T2 mech, taking huge chunks of HP away from it. Down that goes as well. So very successful passage of play there from bekindfrombehind, who's now spamming out Wagners. Has a rally point set somewhere over here. Well, it seems to be just offshore that southeasterly island there, where TZ has his commander located. But TZ down to 126 mass per tick, or there or thereabouts. 2 more Wagners coming in around the western edge of TZ's main base. I think they're going to get too much done on their own. We now have T2 Navy on the field for both players. Predominantly Salem's coming out for TZ on that front versus Barracudas from bekindfrombehind. But we do have 1 Salem in play there. Goes relatively quiet as it seems TZ repositioning his fleet now. And look at this build order we've got up here at the northwest. It's almost as if TZ knew heading that way. I'm sure it's coincidental. Build capacity coming out for bekindfrombehind, coming out to build or attempt to build 5 new T1 naval yards. And would you look at this? Deceiver packed transport is going to make landfall. Scratch that there. Fire beetles, sorry. Thought that was the only reason it would have made through, was a little bit of stealth there, but a quick Corsair run takes all of those out without any difficulty. Those fire beetles, no doubt, have been dispatched to pick off all of those mass extractors once again. The TZ has been under serious pressure here. He's doing pretty well in the naval game, but in every other way he's being put under some serious pressure, and now this southeasterly position is under threat as well. TZ not sticking around to overcharge with his ACU. Interesting decision, although those Wagners can put out a lot of damage. That means he loses another 4 T2 mexes. Build capacity throwing together PD. Don't last too long. Only 1 autocannon manages to make it to completion. Another T2 mechs down. Now that southeasterly position looking in a very bad way as well. However, naval pressure coming straight up the middle now from TZ. 2 naval yards down already for Bekindfrombehind from behind. There goes a third. Must hang on to that T2 naval HQ if he can. Build capacity working on some T1 torpedo launchers. Ideally they get some T2 on the case. And I'm astonished, but he managed to get those 5 naval yards online. But it's 226 versus 137 in terms of mass per tick. Bekindfrombehind also 10k ahead in mass reclaim. So a lot of extra cash flowing into the coffers of our blue Cyberman player. But will any of it matter if the naval game is lost right on the shores of Bekindfrombehind's home base? Lots of tridents absorbing the damage. And we've seen some ASFs on the field now for Bekindfrombehind, so he's gone T3 air. How does that compare? Well, it doesn't. We've got T2 air for TZ still, who is mainly using inties to defend. Dragonfly brought out from TZ, looking to evac the commander. And that would suggest to me that that southeasterly island, that position, is completely lost. I actually like this decision now. Instead of continuing to pressure the main base, you might feel you've got your opponent on the run, you might feel you can have a chance to take a shot at the main base, but instead of doing that, instead of taking that risk, halt the expansion that's going to cut you off. And that's just what he's doing. He's sitting his Salems in the center of the map now and working on taking down these naval facilities that are just seem to be self-replicating at a frightening rate in the center of the map there. But along comes TZ's commander over the top of this base just in time to see Wagner's make landfall, and we are going to see one of those T2 power gens go down. Wagner's aren't going to survive long enough against the Renegades, which are hovering above the base, to take down the second. What does losing that T2 reactor do? Well, it bottlenecks TZ on power quite badly, -4 to 500 net power. Got a whaler on the case there. T3 gunship dishing out damage before it runs out of health, plummets into the ocean. Another one inbound. We do have a T2 naval yard over here, still allowed to be operational, of course, because the HQ is not online. It was actually destroyed. Well, where is the HQ? Well, it is the regular old naval factory, not an HQ building. Perhaps it got destroyed just in time to make me look like a buffoon. Pretty regular occurrence here at Guilecast, as you're all aware, I'm sure. Diversity in play and different strats employed by these two guys, making for a very interesting game. I can't believe I'm saying it, but right now I'm liking TZ to take this one. If he can get a solution on that main base, that would leave Bekindfrombehind split on different sides of the map, which is never a great position to be in. Much rather lose your flanks than lose your center. Two whalers out there from Bekindfrombehind, just getting annihilated by TZ's T1 Air Force. Renegades dispatched out to the southeast to dish out some damage to the Wagners as they traverse that bit of land before submerging once again on their way towards TZ's main island. In come the ASFs now for Be Kind from behind. While at the same time, the Navy for TZ gets in around his opponent's main base. We're going to go to split screen now to keep an eye on these two areas. Well, no, we're not, because for some inexplicable reason, Be Kind from behind has withdrawn his ASFs without killing off any of the renegades. I don't get it. But there we are. That wouldn't have taken more than a few seconds. Interesting decision as the Wagners make it onto the beach. They're going to run straight into some gunships and an awful lot of T1 PD that's been thrown together in the main base there for TZ. And you can already see shield gen down, 2 wrecked T2 P-gens. Be Kind from behind still with enough power to maintain. However, another one goes down. And suddenly has more power. WTF, mate. Let me assume a T3 went online somewhere else. Certainly looks like T3 numbers. We're talking some kind of RAS. Well, we do have resourcing option on the commander there, so that'll be where he's getting the majority of his power. Be Kind from behind, despite losing all those P-gens, is up by about 5k in power compared to his opponents. But what will it matter if he loses the main base, which it looks like he could be about to do? But a bug under construction over here from Be Kind from behind, and that is nearly done and being built at a pretty rapid rate. 345 mass per tick coming in now for Be Kind. Well, that was reclaimed. It's actually 234. But either way, that's still pretty sizable considering he's lost his main base pretty much. Salem's dishing out as much damage on that bug as possible. Any minute now that's going to complete, and then those Salem's could be in a spot of bother, and there it goes. Still a pretty healthy 44,000 HP on board that bug as it starts ripping through those destroyers. And that changes the look of this game somewhat. You can see all of the interceptors inbound on that position now. Not a lot of damage on the T1 Inties, of course. Be Kind from behind has his ASFs in the area, and of course the Soul Ripper itself, which has pretty decent anti-air on board. It doesn't look like he's got enough interceptors to finish the job. 20 kills on board that Soul Ripper. Too far away from a rank of veterancy. Of course, what he needs to do is get it in down here. But that main base has been absolutely wiped out pretty much. Renegades brought in, wants to cut off access to those mexes, 2 of which are at T3, the other 2 at T2. And that is going to hurt somewhat. And another band of renegades out here, so a lot of T2 gunship work being done right now from TZ. And it really is a case now of Navy and gunships versus a Soul Ripper. And Eco, TZ must be bottlenecking on power. Yes, he is. So that's not a proper read on his mass there, 91 at all. It's more like 210. One lowly Salem out there for Be Kind from behind. Just hitting the cliff face with its fire. But I'm astonished that this base has fallen. Great work in the naval game there from TZ. Renegades now hitting the far eastern base as the build capacity builds as many tracers as it can as quickly as possible. Renegades switching between the engineers, the tracers, and the mexes. Really just need to wipe out the build capacity. Those T3 mexes, 8,400 hit points on board, absorbed so much damage. And finally, the ASFs arrive to tidy up the air threat. Will they save that mex? Well, yes, they will. Still comfortably in the yellow there. Be kind from behind, trying to get a power grid sorted over here. Always tough when you're absorbing Salem fire from the west. That bug still online, 85 kills on board now with 10 hit point a second regen. Very interesting game indeed. 36 minutes gone, more or less. Be kind from behind still in the lead by around 50 mass or so. Definitely ahead on power comfortably, and has reclaimed an awful lot more. 386k versus 268k in favor of Be Kind from behind, who definitely isn't behind at this point. And a second bug under construction. 10,000 hit points completed already of the 90,000 that's required. And Salem is brought round and is laying down some fire at the T1 power grid. There's a couple of T2 P-gens that are cruising for a bruising, but for some reason target prioritization isn't a big thing for this blue Cybran. TZ approaching with his comm, was thinking about giving it an overcharge, and then a few more units showed up. Wouldn't it be amusing if this tiny naval force from Be Kind from behind managed to dismantle TZ's base? Well, he hasn't got much left once that base has gone down. Yes, he's more or less in possession of things over here, but everything is T1. Got no mexes at all in the core max area over here. And that bug is actually inbound now. 20,000 odd hit points and climbing. Still heavily damaged. Bug construction has been abandoned for now as the ships turn up to cause some problems from TZ. Be Kind from behind, just poking his ACU's head above water there to lay down some fire on the cruiser. They're not going to be able to save the T3 P-Gen. They're going to definitely want to save that air HQ, which is easily in range of those cruisers.
Commander under attack.
And having lost that ion reactor, he doesn't have the power to adequately fund his air production. So this could cause some issues. Be Kind from behind, traversing that land bridge, got a lot of damage dished out on him. Back up to about 6,000 hit points, and immediately starts work on a harms, giving himself a place to run to if there are any problems. Sylphs and the odd Siren making their way around the peninsula there at the top. The bug caused an awful lot of damage in the main base for TZ, but was ultimately destroyed. Seems to have landed on one of the air factories there. And that's a large mass gift that TZ will be very appreciative of. And with this base looking like it's going to follow the main base, that would leave Be Kind from behind just with the 3 o'clock position over here. And TZ catching him up on mass now. More or less verging on neck and neck in generated eco. The values fluctuating greatly. TZ with actually an advantage now as the last T3 mass extractor is destroyed from the core mass of that top left island. Be Kind from behind got one harms online. A second one is about to complete. That is not a good position for a cruiser to be in. That harms firing directly into the coastline there. Not particularly taxing entry-level exams for harms, cyber and harms operators. Typically, very few people wanting to spend their days at the bottom of the ocean. Torpedo bombers massing up at the top right-hand corner. Perhaps trying to look for a snipe if he can isolate TZ's ACU under the water somewhere. But he doesn't seem too concerned about moving away from the main base now. It seems pretty comfortable where he is. But those two harms makes life very difficult indeed for TZ. Would you look at this? It's so back and forth, this game. We have another bug online. That's complete. 90,000 hit points. Fresh as a daisy. Another one under construction now. So Be Kind from behind spitting out the experimentals. Torpedo bombers going straight after the cruisers, who take a few torpedoes at a time but generally don't allow them to get a second pass in. But here comes the Soul Ripper going straight after those cruisers, trying to take them down before it absorbs too much damage. It's already into the yellow, 60,000 hit points and falling. But there goes the last cruiser and indeed the last destroyer. Opens up the position well and truly. Now the question is there enough firepower to persuade him not to go in after the northern fleet? Well, he does have a lot of torpedo bombers with him. If he goes in and leads with those against the cruisers, he'll be able to take a few of them down before the Soul Ripper gets there, or at least one of them down at any rate. Ignoring the frigates, going straight after the cruisers with their nasty anti-aircraft output. And once again, only the frigates and submarines remain. So that should be enough, at least for the moment, to guarantee control of this island for Be Kind from behind. We do have build capacity down here. We have one land factory for our Red Cybrid, which is working on engineers. But there's too much tech on the ground here. Not to mention the wandering experimental gunship that can stroll across at any time. Another drop down here. That looked like build capacity, actually. Indeed it was, I think. So an attempt at a quick proxy base. A little bit ambitious, perhaps, at this stage in the game. Trying to get on that main island. But there goes that next Soul Ripper. And now Monkey Lord under construction as well. So Be Kind from behind continuing to spit out the experimentals. Now it's him that's looking the slightly favourite to take this match. Lots of free veterancy coming up here. And there goes the Monkey Lord. Is it just me, or did we not get any notifications for the last two Soul Rippers? Didn't seem like we did. The mod creators might want to look into that one, as the last few land units are tidied up, and that's good vision from from Bekind from behind, recognizing the threat and then missing it. I spoke too soon. It could have just been coincidental, as the drop coming up around the top of the screen now. Could this be a potential play for the starting location of Bekind from behind? I can't imagine he's going to try and get any kind of position together on that northwesterly island. Monkey Lord continuing to press on, and that waypoint is set to come in around the back of the main base and up into it directly, so that could be a major game changer on this one. We don't have an awful lot down here that can cause any problems for a Monkey Lord. Couple of T1 PDs, they won't last very long. All the rest are empty wall sections. Corsairs brought in to take down one of the ion reactors, and once again that causes power issues for TZ. Soul Ripper brought out again. This was the latest one, I believe, and that's already down into the red, so it's been taking an awful lot of fire. ASF's coming in single file, three of them from TZ. They're quickly rebuffed. And would you look at it now, nothing on that island to the west pretty much. The Navy is gone. We've got batches of cruisers and stuff coming out one at a time, but the Soul Rippers are managing to contain those. With a Monkey Lord inbound any moment to take the last bastion there of TZ. This is not looking good for our red player at all. Two gunships now inbound, both heavily damaged, one much more so. Just 12,000 hit points on that lead gunship. That's going to go down. But the other one won't. The other one will remain. And we've got T1 and T2 Navy coming in now to escort that Monkey Lord in. And this is surely going to be game right here, as the Soul Ripper that survives goes to work on the northerly T2 mexes. The fleet comes in around the back. We did see engineers make landfall in the end of that main base. They haven't tried to set up shop. They've just been on a bit of a reclaim mission. I'd love to know what's going on with these spy planes. Place is calm, no doubt, but in comes the Monkey Lord. The ACU of TZ lifted out to the western edge of the map there, but that is sheer Cybran power running over another Cybran right now. Monkey Lord, Soul Ripper going to town, and that is going to be game right there, as TZ drops down to 10 and even 8 mass per tick. Drops off his ACU in the ocean over here, which is quickly located by the spy planes out there for Bekind from behind. But a very entertaining back and forth game. It really hasn't been clear at any point except for the last maybe 3 or 4 minutes who was going to emerge with the win on this one. Be kind from behind, saying he studies him. That's a little bit creepy. But whatever he's doing, it works. And now we've managed to get cormorants out down here, torpedo bombers working on the ACU. TC saying it's possibly the douchiest thing that you can say. I don't know, I think it's flattering if anything. As the cormorants take him down one by one. Kaboom! 53.5 minutes of a very entertaining back and forth game. You see, it could almost make me like that map. Almost, when you have decent games like that. Almost. But I do stress, almost. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.